But moving on to a segment I now have on immigration on the European continent. To set the scene, although it is from last summer, not brand new, there is a Dutch paper out called Borderless Welfare State, The Consequences of Immigration for Public Finances. And it's authored by Van der Beek, Hartog and Rodenburg. And here is the table, which has really proven to be the heart of this, that there has been a costing now put, positive and negative, on different kinds of immigrants to the Netherlands. This has been done on Dutch budgetary figures against the opposition of Dutch local and national government figures who said, how dare you put a price on people? Well, they have, because it's scientific research. This has been written up, among others, by Die Fackel 2.0, who has said, Dutch research has revealed the true cost of mass immigration, and the spoiler alert is Westerners bring money in and people from other parts of the world are bottomless sinks. Not a value judgment on the people, but a necessary thing to note. Les Echos in France, the equivalent of the Financial Times, reports that the right-wing parties in the French Assemblée Nationale have attempted to bring in a number of articles amending the immigration law in France. Sadly for them, the Constitutional Council, which French patriots have long accused of being a captured body, has struck out in the way that continental bodies of state do 32 of these articles, informing in a tone of hauteur the parties that these articles don't reach the desired objective. They consider things like putting a brake on family reunion visas, particular monitoring of foreign students, lessening the numbers allowed in for health reasons. Staying with Les Echos, the response to that is that the two right-wing parties, including Mrs. Le Pen's party, which we'll be talking about in a moment, are requiring a revision of that. So that it's clear that the French state has got on its high horse this time. In Germany, the mainstream news in the form of the Tagesschau here is reporting, and this is taxpayer funded, that Mrs. Le Pen of the Rassemblement National, formerly the National Front in France, is threatening to break with Alternative für Deutschland at the European Union level, where at the moment they are united in an identitarian bloc. And the wording of this will be in the, if you speak French, will be in the video of the press conference, which is in the show notes. In essence, Madame Le Pen said, and there'll be some explanation of what this is about in a moment, that I'm not at all in agreement with the suggestions which were made in Potsdam in November by the AfD, her party or her fraction colleagues at EU level. We will have to see whether there's any scope for further collaboration between the parties as a result. We are going to have to talk about these extremely serious differences of opinion. What has gone on here to fracture the unity of the identitarian parties? Well, the first hint comes in Der Spiegel. All of these links, of course, are in German, but you will be able to use the show notes and then use a translation service online to render them into English or your native language. Der Spiegel, which really has to be quoted a lot because it sets the tenor of German public opinion, certainly the ruling classes, repeats that it's reports now in an opinion piece that it's time that patience ran out with AfD, and we've been reporting for quite a time that AfD and the Dutch Forum for Democracy are on the point of being banned by the establishment. And so what has prompted this? Well, a journalists' collective called Correctiv, which makes great shakes about its vaunted independence, came out with this, that the new right wing had a secret plan against Germany. In what seems to have been classic cloak and dagger stuff, the BFV, the German Interior Security Ministry, officially called the Constitution Protection Agency, put bugs in a clock on the wall when there was a meeting in Potsdam on the 25th of November. And we are told that this included a call or a presentation being made by the Austrian identitarian Martin Sellner, married to Brittany Pettibone, to give her maiden name. Some of our viewers will know that she was banned from Britain a while ago. We covered that at the time. Well, Sellner supposedly said, I have a plan to get rid of people to North Africa, even if they have a German passport already. If they are of foreign origin, particularly North African, we'll get rid of them. This is what has prompted these not at all spontaneous-looking protests, which we see here reported on by Der Spiegel. They're carrying the dubious headline, "Tens of thousands demonstrate against AfD." They're rather jubilant about this spontaneous demonstration of public disgust. Meanwhile, they also carry a column by Susanne Beyer, another startlingly young writer, who says, contrary to what the plebs think, Germany is being very well governed by its coalition. And it's all exaggerated criticism. She even goes on to say, "I know that we journalists are not supposed to praise the government, but I'm going to defend them anyway. I'm going to do it because it's a column, so I can give my opinion, and because critical distance, which is the basis of journalism, also allows me to know a lot more than the plebs." Now, that last bit is paraphrased. What she actually says is that I am able to question widely accepted truisms. How wise and clever of her. So Zellner has put out this newsletter that, in a move which is extremely rare in the Schengen group of countries, he may actually be blocked from entering Germany by an individually targeted order, such as usually are given to gangsters, as a result of what was presented at this meeting. Some pictures quite recently of what the Antifa people, who made up quite a bulk of the protesters against the AfD, what kind of banners they carry, show things like "Kill the cops," "Send the unjabbed into the gas chambers." This is a couple of years ago, obviously. "Kill the AfD," "Kill those who think differently." This is all the kinds of people who are whipped up by the German BFV, the German equivalent of MI5 or FBI, to attend these not at all spontaneous protests. And the curious thing about it is that this Correctiv collective of something like Bellingcat in its formation somehow managed to get the transcripts of the bug from the German equivalent of MI5 from Mr. Sellner's meeting, and were therefore able to present it as though it was another Wannsee conference leading to a final solution of a racial problem. So serious questions to be asked there. If people want more detail than we can put in this segment, there are two particularly good pieces, or writers, I should say, Tichys Einblick and Reitschuster. The links will be in the show notes in German. You can find chapter and verse on there on who funds Correctiv, which has always been the big question. But just to end this segment, Oigupios, the Plague Chronicle, has this piece, "Resistance is not futile." And people might be thinking it is at this point. And he stares in the face the real prospect that the AfD will be banned, and the same might happen in other countries in the West. But he says that actually, there's nothing to worry about here, because the every ounce of effort that the establishment is spending on banning parties like AfD is actually doing two things. It's causing them to not be able to push forward their digital ID or what other plans they have, because they have to concentrate on lockdown or the war with Russia or banning the far right or whatever is there be in their bonnet. But it also means that the liberal democratic facade, the mask which they've been wearing, slips little by little and can't be put back. And he says that as a result of this, that they will, here's the sentence, "There are a limited number of moves available to the authorities here, and sooner or later they will run out of them. We, on the other hand, will always be here. Every step towards a more overtly authoritarian politics is a backhanded victory for us."
Alex, thank you very much. It's incredible, isn't it? We've got chaos and breakdown, angst happening in all the countries across the European Union. It's also here in UK. It's happening in the US. This can't be accidental. This has got to be policy which is coming out of the geopolitical powerhouses like the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization.